In a previous video, I showed you how to use sluice-kit command lines to analyze a Linux image. In this video, I want to show sluice-kit's front end, which is called Autopsy. Now, Autopsy sluice-kit, they support for multi-platforms, so they have a version for Linux, Unix. In this demo, I show you a simple version, which is Autopsy for Windows. I have Autopsy installed on my window and open up. Now, sluice-kit Autopsy can not only analyze Linux, Unix images, it also supports Windows file systems. So it can also be used for analyze Windows cases. When it's open up, okay, and you can choose from create new case or open recent case or open existing case. And since this is a new case, so we have to click on create new case. After we save that, next time if you want to continue work on that, you can open it. If it's recent, then they support for a couple of recent cases, or simply you can also say open existing one, then browsing through it, find your case. So now in this case, let's say open a new case. When we're using sluice-kit command line, we look at one image called the Linux financial case. Let's look at the same image. Okay, so we're given a name. We can call it Linux financial case. We want to give it a meaningful name for the case. So if an investigator investigating multiple cases at the same time, then you know which case we are talking about. That. So here it say the default path. It will create on the desktop and in the Linux financial case. We just use the default. Okay, we use the default setting. Say next, and the case number. You can see whatever you like, and examine the name. Those are all the case information, and then we click finish. So now finish means it will try to create a case now. So in a case, certainly what kind of image you want to analyze, you can choose image you created, or you can choose a local disk, or that's the live disk, or the local files. And we have already created image because we have that Linux financial case.001, which the case I created use FTK imager. So I said yes, I want to use that image, and then you browsing through it. That's on the desktop. So this is the Linux financial case.001. Let's open. As I mentioned about that, you have to first choose in the time zone. So if that case's time zone is New York Central, New York time, and then we will just use New York time. Anyway, we try to match the analysis machine zone with the image zone. So here we just use that New York time. This one say, do you want to ignore orphan file nav? Then we leave it not checked. Okay, so next. Pretty much you can leave it as a default. And those are the things when you create a case, and Autopsy sluice-kit will try to organize those things for you. So if you check mark that, that's say yes. So recent activity, they want to check that. Hash lookup, if you want hash lookup or not. So we leave that as default. If you click on each of that, okay, you can configure it more. For example, I look at the keyword search. Currently, only check on the email address search, and it did not check on other search. We just leave it as is at this point. When you have time to play by yourself, this is sluice-kit Autopsy is free anyway, so take your time and go through each one. So at this point, I will just leave it as is, say next, and finish. Now we give image. Okay, so now if you look at the bar here, it is analyzing file. You see many of the check marks we checked early on, so it is analyzing it. right now is 76% complete. So let's wait for a while for it to complete. So for those kind of GUI tool to work, it always create a case, add evidence, and then once we wait until the case created, it's a 100%. So now the case created, we can start to analyze it. Okay. So if we look at here, this is the image itself. Volume 1 is unallocated. So this pane on the left side, it is like a Windows Explorer tree structure. We're familiar with that. You can expand. If it has a plus, then you can expand that. On the right hand side, table view and a thumbnail view. So if I open up something, for example, I say this is a folder, has five files there. The 5 means 5 individual file or subdirectories there. If you click on that, on the table view, you will see the information. So by default, the deleted file, it's trying to recover that for you. The file with red check mark is deleted file, and also has all the timestamps. Modification time, change time, access time, and a burn time. Because for Windows, there's a force timestamp. And file size, whether this is unallocated, is all allocated, and other information. The permissions, UID, GID, and all the other information. And we haven't create hash yet. If you check say create hash, then the hash will fill up in here. And for example, this MD5 hash created it, so the hash is also included that. So this table view gives you various types of metadata information. Okay, now let's look into some file, possibly, if I have. All right, so if we look at this file called earning.excel file. So this is the allocated file because there's no X in this case. Now if you look at the bottom pane, let me make it larger. If we look at the bottom pane, it have multiple views. This is text view. So this file actually contains that text. And certainly you can view it hex or string. Now metadata is interesting. We use many of ThruSkit tools in that demo to show you all the information like inode and data block. How do I get from inode to get data block information, and many of those information it's listed in metadata here. So here is the file name, type, size is allocated, and followed by timestamp and MD5. Okay, hash lookup, if we try to match for some known hashes, currently is unknown. And now, interestingly, if we look at here, that's the inode. Hopefully you still remember that I did a demo for ThruSkit command line demo, used 46082. That's the inode. And again, from group 6 and all the information, I know the time, now followed by the data block. If you hopefully you still remember, we use that data block as well. Okay, so this is all the metadata information. It resides here. So in this view, if you click currently, you look at this content, and then with the content view, and then metadata view, and all those information reside here. We did data carving before, so this one here, the tool automatically did the carving for you. So there's an exe file, and those are all from unallocated spaces. Actually, honestly, I even don't know what are those files. Some looks familiar, so if you click on that, I remember this is one of the lab I had maybe left over on that USB, and it recovered from it. So there's a text. Interestingly, it's grab lots of things which I don't even realize it's there. It's data carved, 31 file, data carved out automatically for you. Now the other information, if I just randomly click and then look at the view, and it's based on file type. This image is too simple. There's no image. Otherwise, if I have an image, then it will categorize, put into the images. And then if there's videos, then it will put in the videos, and the audios will put into the audio files. Again, there's executables and the documents. So there's some of the Office documents here. It's all categorized, or make it categorized here, including allocated and unallocated, deleted, recovered file as well. So there are lots of information. It's organized for you, and then when you have a time, just go into that one by one to look. And the deleted file, certainly it's gathering all the deleted files from this image together, put into under this category. Now, looking into the keyword search. Remember early on I told you, I said, yeah, they did only check mark on the email address keyword search. So it did find a lot of emails. Yeah, interestingly, lots of emails. I even don't know. This is most likely is from unallocated space. So if you click on that, it tells you where does it find this email address. Okay, so it located 93 emails from this image without actually I don't even know those emails are there. It's from the unallocated space. And again, if you look at here, keyword search. If you look at here, those are the default ones. You can check whether you want to do it. So if you look at a phone number, this is the regular expressions to match for the phone number. This is the IP address, regular expression, pattern matching, and then here this is the regular expression of email address and the URLs. So those are the one that's built in. If you want to check, say, previously I only checked the email address, now I want to search IP address, then it even tell you file indexed, automatically indexed. There's a 66 indexed files, and then you can search through. If you search, then you can find. Okay, and all if I don't want to do anything. Okay, so if you said I want to do something beyond that, and then I can do keyword search, then you can either search exactly match, just match for strings. For regular expression match, then you can match for patterns, and you can do a substring match. You can search through this email. So keyword search, almost every modern forensic analysis tools support that. Beside that, you can do hash sets, hash set check, and then if you did hash match, it will be in the hash hints. Now, there's other thing I did not see is a thumbnail. Thumbnail is for images, but since we don't have images in this in this Linux image, so actually there's nothing there. Later in the later tools, and I will show you that thumbnail. All right, and then they also have generate report. So I just give you a very brief basic view to look into how to analyze using Sleuthkit and Autopsy, and later on you will see most forensic analysis tools followed pretty much similar patterns. On the left hand is the tree structure, and then on the right hand, it's certainly there's a table view or graphic view, and then if you click on each file, then there's a content view on the bottom one. It is very similar. And then they also support other features like a keyword search, hash analysis, and much more. Now, generate report, most of the tools also support that. We will cover that later. So I think this is enough for you. If you have your own USB image created, and you can any image, yeah, just dump into it and create case. You will find surprise information in that in your image. It's fun. I hope you feel it's fun too.